Welcome back to Cabbage Patch. I'm Dad.
I'm Tommy.
And I'm Gus.
And today, this time we're reviewing
Cosmic Encounters.
Cosmic Encounter is a really old game. Cosmic Encounter, I think, was made in like 1977.
And it's still going strong today.
And it's still going strong today.
The art is sublime.
The art in this version is pretty cool. This is, I think, I want to say it's the second edition. It might be the third. This is the one that's only for 2 to 4 players. There's some versions of the game that go to 5 or 6. This one is 2 to 4, and I can't really see how that would work with a 2-player game, but maybe it's 3 to 4. Look at the box. It doesn't say. So up to 4 players. And what the game is about is each of you has this sort of army of 20 spaceships. In this game, there are these little sort of rocket ship things. In some of the other games, some of the other versions, especially the new version, there's flying saucers. This game has got a fiddly mechanic where you put the ships that you want to use in this mothership in the middle, and then other players that want to join you in your attack put theirs in the mothership as well.
And if they want to defend a player.
Right, if they want to defend a player, then they use these ships. So that's a fiddly little mechanic. But the notion is you're taking turns, and on your turn you draw one of these discs, right, and turn it over, and that tells you who you can attack, right? So when you draw your own color, you can choose to do stuff to reinforce your own planet, or defend, or throw people off a planet that you already own, that sort of thing. You win when you get, what is it, 4? I think it's 4. Do you remember? You win when you get 4 other planets. Might be 5.
5, I think.
Is it 5?
Yeah, it's 5.
Yeah. Yeah. Winning is you have to conquer, or actually, it's not necessarily conquering, because as you play the game, you can do things and gain a planet without actually fighting, right? 5 other planets. You think it's 5? It might be 4. I'll look it up in a second. It doesn't matter. So you have to get a certain number of planets, right? And you do that by, on your turn, saying, I am going to, say I drew a green token, so that means I'm allowed to attack Tommy. I put a number of ships in this battleship here in the middle, this mothership in the middle, that I'm committing, and I can take them from any of my planets. Right, so say I want to take 2 of them, and I point them at one of Tommy's planets, right? And I say, I want to do that. And then I ask Gus, and he doesn't say anything yet, but I ask Gus if he wants to help me. And Gus says, maybe. And then Tommy gets a chance to ask one of the other players if they want to help defend. Right, so if Gus helps me, he takes his number of ships and he puts them there. And then our attack and defense values are based on the number of ships, plus a card that you play. And there's some cards that you can play that have numbers on them, right, that are an attack value. But there's also something called negotiate. And if both players play a negotiate card, we might be able to negotiate something where we don't battle. And if you negotiate something where you don't battle, then the negotiation could be, I want to put some of my ships on your planet without battling, right? If you battle, so Tommy's picked a card and I picked a card, we turn it over at the same time.
Except with my power, I can see your card.
Oh, you can see my card? Yeah, so we'll get to that in a second. When you battle, you turn the card over, and whoever has the highest value plus the number of ships. So we've got 4 ships. Tommy's got 4 ships, but Tommy's got a 20 and I've got an 8. So he wins. All of the losers' ships go to the void.
Except you. You don't have to.
Oh yeah, because we'll talk about that in a second. So with a standard fight, all the losers' ships go to the void. Right, and then it goes to the next turn, and if the next turn is Gus's turn, Gus gets to take 1 ship out of the void and put it back somewhere. And then he does the same thing. He draws a token. He says, okay, now I got to go on against red. And then repeats that thing. Now, the thing that makes the game sort of more replayable is each of us gets a race card, right? And our races have special abilities. So I have the power of immortality. So when I'm about to lose any of my ships, instead of sending them to the void, I can send them back home.
And if there's nowhere to send them?
Yeah, because you're only allowed to have 4 on a planet, but you're always going to have someplace to send them. You're 4 on a planet, right? Up to 4. Or I can send them to any planet that I currently occupy, I believe. Gus's is what? What was this one?
I have the power to replicate.
Replicate. You do not have to discard any of your encounter cards. So when you play these cards, they get discarded, and you draw a new one to keep your hand at. I think you draw a new one and keep your hand at 7. But Gus doesn't have to discard them. Oh, that's the thing you can do is once you use all your cards, if all you have are artifact cards, you can draw a new hand of 7. So you don't draw new cards. You spend these cards until you're out of them, and then you draw new cards, and that can be one of your actions. And then Tommy makes us play with our cards face up, so he gets to see what we're doing before we do it. So if he wants to negotiate, and I decide to play a negotiate, he can play a negotiate, and then we can have a chat about that. There's a time limit on negotiations, but we never actually reached it, and it played pretty fast.
Bring me back next time bring my ships back next time they die.
Right. So I can bring myself and any number of my opponents as part of, say, a negotiation. So I can do lots of things. So and there's a bunch of these race cards. So every game can be different. It suggests that you start with the 4, these 3 plus one other, because those are simpler. But each card changes or breaks a rule of the game. So beyond that basic, draw a token for your orders, pull a ship back from the void, attack or negotiate with another player, etc. And then once you get to that the required number of colonies on other planets, the first person that does that win, right? And it's always the first person to do that. So as soon as that happens, the game's over. So what did you think of the game?
It's cool.
It's very cool.
Yeah, what did you like about it? Jess?
I liked how it felt a little bit like you were planning a war
Okay.
when you were playing.
Some strategy. How about you?
I like the little things in like lower bits.
Okay, you gotta pull that back. I can't see that. It's just very blurry. Right there is close.
On the bottom
There,
of the
yeah.
cards.
You have to hold it still when you're holding it in front of the camera. Yeah, the bits of lore. So there's a little bit of story on the bottom of the cards.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What about the rest of it?
It's I like it a lot.
Yeah. What? Any part? Tell the camera, not me.
I like the ships and the ships that go into the ships.
Yeah, I think actually this is the thing I don't like as much because it's fiddly, right? The only way to get them to stack is you have to like stack them in.
And you kind of have to like put them together.
And you kind of have to put them together first in order for it to get in. So if I want to use 2 ships, I put 2 ships there. And then this bit is a little bit artificial. In the new version of the game, you don't have this spiral galaxy thing. It's just a center piece in your home planets. And you're just moving the ships back and forth. You're not putting them into this ship. I like the ship. I just don't think it adds much to the game. So what kind of score are you ready to give it a score? Anything else before we go?
Yep.
Yeah? Anything else?
Nope.
No? All right.
Oh,
Ready to give it a score?
Yep.
All right, Tommy, you look at the camera and tell them what you think of it.
3.
Really?
3.
Really?
3 whole space cabbages.
Yeah. I think it plays better with 4 people because I think you get more sort of negotiations going on and more helping each other out, and I think it'll play a little bit longer. It played pretty fast when we played it. I'm gonna give it a 2. I like it, but I don't like it as much as I like some other games. So that's what is that? That's 8. That's a pretty good score, right? Anything else before we go?
Nope.
Ready to do the outro?
Subscribe, like, hit that bell, Tommy.
Leave a comment if you wish.
Eat plenty of cabbages, not us though.
Space cabbages.
All right.
There's space cabbages.
Good.
Remember that. Remember.
All right. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Live long and prosper.
Wrong game.